He's dead, he's dead, he's dead. There is a... Good job. Zofie Bandit was on the right side, yeah, in the corner. No, in the corner. Close, Twitch close, one of them close.
Jaeger's on the stairs.
I'm planting.
Oh, nice.
What?
You dude, what's wrong with you?
So, there you go. I mean, it's nothing we didn't already know, but we wouldn't recommend this. Let's install it in our computer. How much did I pay for that? $56? I mean, capacity for capacity, that's
Maybe
not a
some
terrible
other
deal,
picture.
but for
Maybe a toucher.
like a piece of crap SSD like this one, that's not a good deal. Oh boy. When your SLI still uses a lowercase I because you haven't updated any of your materials since like 2010? Oh boy. Now let's have a look at our connectors here. So we've got 2 leads, each of which are Molex and a SATA. Wow, this wiring. It's so cheap. Even the plastic for the connectors feels cheap. On a positive note, I do think we have all the connectors we need. 4-pin for the CPU, 24-pin for the motherboard, 6-pin for, oh right, graphics card. So,
I'll go for the 90. For the vault and all.
Okay.
Bandit is in the door to the right.
Dude, she's sitting right here, dude.
What?
Device ready.
She's close on the right. Maybe the guy, maybe so baiting. Good baiting.
You go behind.
This one, we're pretty sure is a ripoff. Actually, speaking of ripoffs, how much did I pay for this piece of garbage? $31. 31 bucks? That's overpriced. Not that you should ever use even like a good $31 power supply in like a decent machine. Power supply is one of those things, it's just not worth it to cheap out on. And wow, look at this thing. So if I had to guess, I would say that this is a 460 Ti or a 560. What is it? A 1060? It doesn't even have a 6-pin power connector on it. 1060, my
Device
ass. Wait, NVIDIA's 10 series doesn't even have VGA support. Oh, you. How much did I pay for this? $45. 45 bucks. Well, at least the price was right. All right, let's go ahead and install this piece of hot garbage. Now, normally your power supply is supposed to be the one that comes with your mounting screws, but either they fell out of the gaping hole in the bottom of the box, or
Why did it peak? Dude, he knew that he killed me from this person. I don't know why he didn't pick it.
Let's win the defense.
they just weren't included. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna salvage a couple of what appear to be power supply compatible screws, but that seem to have been intended for expansion cards. So what's our total bill for the tower? $380 with the air cooler option. That is brutal. That is so much more than I would pay for this. Now our PC is done, but what we still don't know is how true any of the manufacturer's claims were about their products. To find that out, we're gonna have to actually install Windows on it and fire it up. But before we can do that, of course, we're gonna need some peripherals. Let's start with the Zhulang Wolf Rainbow Light K16 game keyboard. Wow. This may be the lightest keyboard that I have ever felt. Then also from the same brand, I think, although this time it's in Chinese instead of English, but it's the same logo here.
Baited, this bitch was bait. You did kill him, dude. to come to you. Can you kill me?
Don't. GG, let's go.
Do it for 4.
We've got some kind of gaming mouse, I guess. That is quite literally the spongiest click that I have ever felt on anything. You can even see a lot of that travel is being absorbed by the PCB underneath. See how much that port is moving? That is grody. Okay, this I've actually seen. This mouse pad is a pretty good deal. All right, how much did the peripherals cost us? And that includes the mouse pad? Well, at least the price is right for the peripherals, because these are definitely like $10 worthy peripherals over here. All right, so this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Our epic gaming setup is now ready for a Windows install and a gaming test. We'll be right back. All right, so we're getting some games downloading, we're gonna get some drivers installed, but before we do that, I've got an update for you. This power supply was even worse than we expected. Not only did it suck, it didn't work at all. So we had to pull in just a TX 750 in order to get the system powered up at all. The good news is that once we did that, we were at least able to get Windows installed. Yeah, it's clear by this point that this is not a build that you guys would want to emulate, but get subscribed if you're not already, because we're gonna have a Ryzen build guide coming up pretty soon. It's gonna be more by the book. Now let's take some time to explore what kind of hardware.
Did you get a Jaeger?
Someone was in kitchen, watch out.
Sledge, can you pick the
Piano
diffuser?
behind piano.
Do it, I drop the diffuser.
Calves on like 7, 9, like 10 HP.
Fuck this fucking asshole. Close, close.
Use your launcher to check if there's someone on the stairs. Oh, nice try.
Where we've really ended up with here. So we'll fire up hardware info, fire up our device manager, and see what we're looking at. One thing I figured out already is this computer is not very fast. All right, so we're gonna start with Device Manager here. You can see all of our drivers auto-installed for like our chipset and all that kind of stuff. It's older hardware, so Windows just knows what to do with that. So it turns out this is in fact a Core i3-2130, so that's good, I guess. Okay, all right, Gigabit Ethernet, blah, blah, everything here looks fine, but we don't have a GPU driver yet, so that's not showing up. So it says here, we've got a GTX 1050 Ti, and we've actually got the NVIDIA drivers unpacking in the background here, but we fire up hardware info, and this is hilarious. Sandy Bridge processor, fake NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti fake. It's not, one fake is not enough for this, 2 fakes. So this is a GF116, which if I recall correct,